What's up everyone, welcome to another video. I am back finally to making YouTube videos. I will talk about it why I was gone in a separate video. In this video we are going to talk about spring semester. Is it really good to come in spring semester? Because a lot of you have asked me on my Instagram. So I want to clarify that question and also a lot more about spring semester. Let's get started. First of all, if you are not following me on Instagram, you should definitely follow me. That's where I got a lot of questions and DMs. I do weekly Q&A, also a lot of informative reels. So go ahead and follow, link in the description. That's also where you can ask me your personal DM questions. I respond to a lot of DMs. So if you have any personal question, you can also ask me there. But there was a common thread that, hey, spring semester started. We have heard it's not so great to come in spring semester. Is it really good to come during spring semester? Here's the answer. Answer is yes. It's absolutely okay. It's absolutely safe and there's no problem. So if you don't want to watch this video, you can totally skip it. That was the short answer. Skip it. Now, I'm going to divide this video into 3 sections. Number 1 is timeline of the spring semester. Number 2 is the biggest disadvantage of coming into spring semester. And number 3, if you have decided to come into spring semester, how can you make that disadvantage into your advantage? All right, let's start with number 1. Number 1 is master's timeline or timeline for spring semester. If you typically come in spring semester, I'm going to assume that you're coming in 2023 spring, which is going to start from January 2023. Even though you apply right now, that's when your classes will start. So you will start there. Typically, masters will be 2 years long. So it will be from January 2023 to December 2025. That's the timeline. Typical masters is 2 years long. Now, I know a lot of you will be like, hey, but my master's program is only 16 months. I've seen people completing their masters in 1.5 years. I've also seen people completing their masters in 2 years and a half. Let's talk about the caveats of that 2 years master. There are 2 main factors to timeline. One, you can either increase the timeline or decrease the timeline. Let's talk about first decreasing the timeline. People have done masters in 1.5 years. How is that possible? It is possible because of the summer courses. There's something called summer courses. What happens is there's a spring semester, there's a fall semester. There's typically 2 semesters. There are some universities, they have trimester pattern, which means they only have 3 months semesters. But in general, I'm generalizing this, there's 2 semesters, spring and fall. Typically in between, after spring semester, there's a summer, 3-month summer break. A lot of people either go back to India, they will have internship, they will do on-campus job, or they will take summer courses. There are limited courses available which will still count 2 years towards your masters, and people tend to take some courses, 1 or 2, because that will actually help them complete their masters sooner than they want to. That's how they complete their masters sooner. Now let's talk about increasing your timeline. There's multiple ways to do that. Number 1 is, let's say you got a summer internship and that summer internship gets converted into full-time CPT. You skip the entire semester because you're working full-time. So you can do that. It's possible. You just have to enroll in a credit course for your CPT. And now instead of graduating in 2 years, now you will be 2.5 years because you had that 6 months of CPT. Same thing, you could do 8 months of co-op. There's very common. A lot of universities and NU is very famous for their co-op. So you can actually go get a co-op for 6 to 8 months. Obviously, because you have co-op, now you will extend your masters and graduate after 2.5 years. Okay, so that's internship, CPT, co-op, and the final one is you actually end up taking more courses because you are interested in something like what I've done. I actually also had a full-time job while I was studying, which is full-time CPT while I was doing it. But then I realized that I want to move from computer science to project management. Yes, that's possible. Even after coming to United States, it's totally possible. Go watch all my videos. It is possible, and that's what I did. And because of that, I had to take some extra classes for project management, entrepreneurship. Even though my degree was still in masters in computer science, I personally wanted to take it, so I extended 1 more semester for my master's. So totally possible. Now let's talk about why do people want to generally extend their masters. Number 1 reason is because they want to graduate in May. Why do they want to graduate in May? That's what we're going to talk about. In fact, that is the only disadvantage of coming to spring semester. There's no other disadvantage of spring semester, and it's not as bad as that I will make it sound or as anybody else makes it sound. It's not bad. There's a solutions for that as well, but that is the only disadvantage. No matter what anybody else says, don't listen to them. Just listen to me. All right, so why is it a disadvantage? Let me kind of track back a little bit. So you have 2 years masters. You start your masters springs 2023. So January 2023, you will graduate in December 2025. After December 2025, once you graduate, if you want to work in United States, you have to apply for something called OPT. It's still F1 visa, but it's optional practical training, which you get it with your master's program. It's a legal way to work in United States, and you get it for 1 year. But if your course is a STEM-based course, which is science, technology, engineering, math, if you get it, then you actually get 2 years of extension. That means you will now have 3 years of OPT and you can legally work in United States for 3 years. If you want to work extra more than 3 years, then you have to apply for something called H1B. Actually, you don't apply for it, your company applies for it. But you need a sponsored H1B work visa. That is another form of legal way to work in United States, and that's work visa H1B. Now let's talk about H1B. H1B is a yearly process. Every single year there's a lottery. A lot of people apply for H1B. There is a lottery happens. Only selective people, I think 65,000 or 85,000 people get selected from 100,000 plus people who have applied for H1B. And those are the people who get selected, and then the process moves on for them. So every year there's a lottery, and every year people get H1B visa. You will get 3 chances for H1B. Now, why the spring semester is the biggest advantage? Because there might be chances where you can miss that one chance. Why? Because you graduate in December 2025. Most likely your job will start in January 2026. The whole application process for H1B, it starts like mid-February to mid-March. And then the picking of lottery, the picking of people who got selected for H1B usually draws on April 1st. Technically, the whole process is done by April 1st. You get to know that whether you got selected for H1B or not, and then the process moves on, and then October 1st is when you get approved, etc. Blah blah blah. We're not going to go on that, but the process starts in mid-February to mid-March. Your company's lawyer, immigration team will reach out to you. You apply for documentation, etc. So why this is a disadvantage? Because you graduated and you start most likely you will start in January 2026. You will only have about a month and a half to convince your company that, hey, I also need H1B visa. Can you please apply for H1B visa? Now, some companies are great, like FANG companies, they already know that you need H1B visa. In fact, most companies nowadays have it in the application. They will ask you whether you require sponsorship or not. Please say yes, do not say no. But some companies are like, oh, we didn't know that you require H1B visa, or we want you to work for 6 months and see your performance, and then we want to invest into your H1B visa. Because again, H1B visa for companies, about a 10,000 to 15,000 lawyers fees, immigration fees, and documentation, etc. So there's a cost associated to filing for H1B visa for you. So obviously you can't pay for it, even if you are like, oh, what if I pay for it? You can't. That's illegal. Your company has to pay for it. So your company has to make that decision. So your time frame is very limited. That is the only disadvantage why spring semester sucks, because if you do graduate in December, then you end up having only 40 days to convince your employer to get you H1B visa. And that means that you will miss that first chance of H1B. There are 2 other chances. If your OPT comes under STEM, then you get extension, then you can apply for the next year and then 2 years. So you will end up missing the first chance. That is the only disadvantage. So far, so good. Now let's talk about the solutions. If you do end up graduating in December, I graduated in December. Here's the solution. Number 1, when you find a job, make sure in your offer letter it is written out that you need H1B visa. They are going to sponsor your H1B visa. It is already communicated. So find the companies who do this, or make sure that you communicate during the hiring process that you are going to need it and they will have to sponsor you in the first few months. So that way it's cleared out, and there's no such thing whether they will apply or not. So that's number 1. Number 2 solution, which is like if you do end up coming to spring semester and graduating, is that you extend or decrease your time frame. Decreasing, like I said, take a summer course and maybe graduate in May. If you graduate in May, now you actually will have a job in May, June, July, and you will have entire like 6 to 8 months to convince your boss or your company to sponsor your H1B visa. Plenty of time. Or like we said, you extend the timeline by actually taking some extra courses, so you graduate in May. My best recommendation is that just start the job search early on first. Number 2 is get a summer internship in your second semester. because second semester is also when you will be eligible to get internship. Your first summer you will not be eligible, so make sure to utilize that semester, either get a summer course or get a full-time job, or don't go back to India. I would not recommend you to go back to India unless you absolutely have to go back to India or your home country. Utilize your masters in a very good way and a smart way. There you have it. That is the only disadvantage. So if you do end up coming in spring semester, it's totally fine. Just follow this process. Now I do want to talk to general people, like, okay, if you're planning to come to United States this spring semester, don't worry, it's all good. I don't want you to be scared. It's not a big deal. Like I said, there are so many solutions. So get an early start. In fact, in a way, I think it's good because you actually get 2 summer breaks versus fall students only get 1 summer. Second summer, they actually graduate, so they don't have second summer. In a way, it's a good thing. Now, talking about the future students who are not coming in this spring, but they are coming either in next fall or future spring semester, and you're wondering which one to choose. If you're planning and if you do not have any time constraint to your master's education that you have to do it in spring, then try waiting for 6 months and come in fall, because just nicer and easy. But if you like, oh, my parents will get me married, because of that's why you have to come. You have to get out of your home country, or you have job and you're like, I'm too bored. I will have nothing else to do, so I just want to come right away. I can't wait it anymore. Whatever that reason may be, that's fine. If you have no other options, then that's absolutely fine. But if you do have options, maybe figure out that 6 months what you want to do as a career-wise. Get an internship and do fun stuff in India. Do productive stuff, not fun stuff. And then wait it out and then come in fall. Again, there's no such thing that fall semester is better and have better opportunities or spring. I saw some things and I was like, what? No way, no. You will have exactly same opportunities, everything same. That's the only one disadvantage which I just told you. And there are workaround for that. I think that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep smiling and keep hustling. You gotta hustle every single day. It feels so good to be back on YouTube. Also comment what else you want to watch on this channel. Also, podcast channel is also getting very, very active. Subscribe to podcast channel if you haven't already. Link in the description. See you guys.